guys, giving you a recap on the hockey games, 11 games yesterday, March 15th, 2025. So the first game that we had was the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Buffalo Sabres. First goal for Vegas was Brett Howden, assisted by Tanner Pearson and Ivan Barbashev. That was only for the first period. It was 1-0 Vegas. Second period, it was a second goal by Vegas, Pavel Dorofeyev, assisted by Tomas Hertl. Then it was Ryan McLeod that got the Buffalo Sabres on the board to make it 2-1 in the second period. Then third period came around. Third period, Jason Zucker tied it 2-2, non-assisted. Then the third goal that gave Vegas the lead going into the third was Jack Eichel, assisted by Mark Stone and Alex Pietrangelo. And then Rasmus Dahlin tied the game 3-3 with assists by Bowen Byram and Tage Thompson. They obviously went into overtime, and with overtime, nobody scored. The goalies were really good. For Vegas Golden Knights, it was Aiden Hill, and for the Buffalo Sabres, it was Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And they were both really strong as the game went on, and then the shootout came out. First goal, Tage Thompson missed the goal. Victor Olofsson scored for Vegas to make it 1-0. Jack Quinn tied it to make it 1-1, so they were tied. Jack Eichel shot the goal, missed it, and it became still 1-1. And then Alex Tuch was the next one to go up, scored a goal. It was 2-1 Buffalo. And then Pavel Dorofeyev tried to tie it up, but it wasn't able to. He missed it. And then Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen won it for the Sabres. And Sabres won 4-3. And that concluded that game. Moving on to the next game, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the New Jersey Devils. First goal, we had Cody Glass, assisted by Jesper Bratt and Luke Hughes. Devils 1-0. Followed by that, we had Connor Dewar, assisted by Noel Acciari and Connor Timmins to make it 1-1. Then it was 2-1 Pittsburgh Penguins. Danton Heinen, assisted by Philip Tomasino and Vladimir Kozenkak. And then it was 3-1 Pittsburgh. A goal by Rickard Rakell, assisted by Sid the Kid, Sidney Crosby, and Connor Timmins, as you guys all know. Then Philip Tomasino made it 4-0 Pittsburgh. It was a crazy game. And then 4-1 Pittsburgh. Then Timo Meier made it 4-2 to put the Devils within 2. Timo Meier scored a goal, assisted by Jesper Bratt and Simon Nemec. And then Nico Hischier put it 4-3. Then Erik Karlsson made it 5-3. Nico Hischier scored, then assisted by Luke Hughes and Jesper Bratt. And then Erik Karlsson made it 5-3, assisted by Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang. And then Connor Odor made it 6-3, assisted by Blake Lizotte. And then to put the finishing touches on the game, Kevin Hayes made it 7-3, assisted by Emil Benstrom. And the goalies for this game, Devils, it was Jacob Markstrom. And for the Pittsburgh Penguins, it was Tristan Jarry. And that will conclude the second game. Third game, we got the Washington Capitals versus the San Jose Sharks. First goal was scored by Dylan Strome, Washington Capitals, assisted by Alex Ovechkin, the grade 8, and assisted by Tom Wilson. 2-0 Capitals. Alexia Protas, assisted by Lars Eller and Tom Wilson. Then it was 3-0 Capitals. A goal by Tyler Radish, assisted by John Carlos and Pierre-Luc Dubois. And then third period, Macklin Celebrini scored for the Sharks to make it 3-1, assisted by Tyler Toffoli. Then it was 4-1. Trevor Van Riemsdyk scored 4-1 for the Capitals to make it 4-1. Lars Eller assists on that goal, as followed by Andrew Mangiapane. And the fifth and final goal for Capitals was Alex Ovechkin, assisted by Martin Ferravari and Pierre-Luc Dubois. And the goalies for this game was Alexander Georgiev for the San Jose Sharks. And for the Washington Capitals, it was Logan Thompson. That was game number 3. It ended in 5-1. Caps win. And for that, Alex Ovechkin scored his 887th goal. And he's on record to beat Wayne Gretzky's 894 record. Yeah. Moving on to the next game. We have the Boston Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Starting goalie for the San Jose Sharks was Alexander Georgiev. He swapped with Georgiev Romanov in the second period. And that wraps up the Caps and Sharks game. Moving on, get my head of myself, with the Lightning and Bruins game. It was in Boston, TD Garden. And yeah, it was a really good game. Starting goalies for Boston was Jeremy Swayman. Other one for the Tampa Bay Lightning, it was Andrei Vasilevsky. First goal, Tampa Bay Lightning, Victor Hedman, assisted by Yanni Gourde and Damian Radish. And then Elias Lindholm tied at 1-1. First goal for Boston, Elias Lindholm, assisted by Andrew Peeke and Jacob Lauko. And then that was the first period. Moving on to the second period, Nick Paul made it 2-1 Tampa Bay Lightning, assisted by Emil Lilleberg and Cage Gonzalez. And then it was 3-1 Tampa. Goal by Anthony Cirelli, assisted by Ryan McDonough and Yanni Gourde. Then it was 4-1 Tampa Bay Lightning. Again, Darian Radish, assisted by Emil Lilleberg and Nick Paul. Third period, that was for the second period. Moving on to the third period, Mark Kuznetsov made it 4-2, scored for the Boston Bruins, assisted by Henry Jokiharju and Elias Lindholm. And then after that, Brendan Hagel made it 5-2 Tampa Bay, assisted by Nikita Kucherov and Eric Chernak. And then to seal the deal, the sixth and final goal, it was 6-2. Sixth and final goal for Tampa Bay, it was Anthony Cirelli, assisted by Victor Hedman. And that ends that game. Moving on to the next game, we got the Ottawa Senators versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Starting goalies, here we go. For the Maple Leafs, we got Anthony Stolarz. For the Ottawa Senators, we got Linus Ullmark. It was a really good game, I can say. First goal, it was William Nylander for the Toronto Maple Leafs, 1-0 Leafs, assisted by Nicholas Robinson and Brandon Carlo. Then Jake Sanderson scored for Ottawa Senators to make it 1-1, assisted by Tim Stutzle and Brady Tkachuk. And then after that, it was Austin Matthews to make it 2-1 Toronto. And then after that goal, we had David Perron for the Ottawa Senators to make it 2-2, assisted by Drake Batherson. And then it was 3-2 Ottawa. A goal by Claude Giroux, assisted by Thomas Chabot. And then the fourth and final goal was in the third period, scored by Michael Matteo. It was an empty net, and it was assisted by Wrigley Gregor. And yeah, it was 4-2 Ottawa Senators. Moving on to the next game. starting goalies for this game. We had the Panthers versus the Canadiens. Sergei Bobrovsky in net for the Panthers. Sam Montembeault in net for the Montreal Canadiens. And let's get this game started. Let's get it going. So for the first goal for Montreal, we had Patrick Laine, assisted by Lane Hudson and Cole Caulfield. Second goal for Montreal, Cole Caulfield, assisted by Jaroslav Slafkovsky. That was in the first period. Let's move on to the second period. We have Marky Severik, assisted by Carter Verhaeghe and Sam Bennett. Maki Savelsevic to make it one for that was the first goal for the Florida Panthers. It was 2-1. Assisted by Carter Verhaeghe and Sam Bennett. And then it was 3-1 Montreal. Christian Dvorak assisted by David Savard. And that puts the cake on the cake. And it ended 3-1 in final Canadiens win. Moving on to Hurricanes and Flyers. Carolina Hurricanes versus the Philadelphia Flyers. It was an interesting game. So for goalie for the Hurricanes, we had Pierre Konchenkov versus Samuel Eriksson. First goal for Carolina, we had Sebastian Aho, assisted by Jackson Blake and Seth Jarvis. And for the second goal in the first period, we had Mark Jankowski, assisted by Eric Robinson and Tyson Jost. Moving on to the second period, it was 3-0 Canes. It's a power play goal scored by Taylor Hall, assisted by Sebastian Aho and Shane Gostisbehere. The fourth goal for the Carolina Hurricanes, 4-0. Mark Jankowski, assisted by Eric Robinson and Shane Gostisbehere. And to put the cake on the cake, the final goal, 5-0 Canes. It was Scott Moreau, assisted by Logan Stankoven and Taylor Hall. And that game ended 5-0. Hurricanes win on that one. And then we move on to the next game. Oh, my bad. And then Scott Moreau, moving back, Scott Moreau's first NHL career goal with the Hurricanes, his first goal in the NHL. Congrats to him. And Pierre Konchenkov got his 10th career shutout of the season. Moving on to the next game. We got the New York Rangers versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. We got Igor Shesterkin in net for the New York Rangers. And then we got Danny Tarasov in net for the Blue Jackets. First goal, New York Rangers, Alexia Lafreniere, assisted by Mika Zibanejad. Second goal, that does it for the first period. Moving on to the second goal, Artemi Panarin, assisted by Alexi Lafreniere and Will Borgen. Then it was 3-0 Rangers. Vincent Trocheck, assisted by Artemi Panarin and Will Cooley. Then, after that, it was Vincent Trocheck again. Makes it 4-0 Rangers. Vincent Trocheck scored the 4-0 goal, assisted by JT Miller and Adam Fox. And it was a shorthanded goal and an empty net goal. Rangers, Adam Fox returns from injury. Kirill Kaprizov, 200th NHL game. And Igor Shesterkin's 20th career shutout. Kirill Marchenko's 200th NHL game. Igor Shesterkin's 20th career shutout. And then the 5th shutout of the season for Igor Shesterkin. So, yeah. That does it for that game. It ended 4-0. Moving on to this game. I was looking forward to this game. We got the Minnesota Wild versus the St. Louis Blues. And then in goal for the Blues, we had Joel Hofer. versus Philip Gustafson of the Minnesota Wild. Let's get down into it. Braden Shen, 1-0 for the St. Louis Blues, assisted by Cam Fowler and Alexia Tropino. Second goal that was the first period. Moving on to the second goal, Jake Neighbors in the second period, assisted by Robert Thomas and Pavel Buchnevich. And then third, 3-0 Blues, Jordan Kyrou, assisted by Braden Shen and Cam Fowler. And then after that, Jake Middleton scored 1 for the Minnesota Wild to make it 3-1. Unassisted, all by himself. Then after that, it was 4-1 St. Louis, a goal by Jordan Kyrou, assisted by Dylan Holloway and Justin Falk. The fifth and final goal, and got the hat trick of the game. It was Jordan Kyrou. 5-1 St. Louis wins. The final goal was assisted by Pavel Buchnevich and Robert Thomas. Jordan Kyrou's hat trick, 5th career hat trick of the season. And that 5-1, the last and final goal for 5-1, it was an empty net goal by Jordan Kyrou. Moving on to the last and final game, guys. It was the Panthers versus the Kings. Sorry, my mistake. We had the Blackhawks versus the Canucks. Oh, sorry. We had the Panthers versus the Kings. Sorry, that one came before that game. We had Justin Odonen in goal We had Justin Odonen versus Darcy Kemper, and it was a hell of a good one. As you can see, it both teams were neck and neck. It was a hard battle. 0-0 first period. Second period 0-0. Both goalies were on each other's games, not letting any pucks through. Moving on to the third period, neck and neck, 0-0. And then finally, it went to overtime, 1-0 Kings. Quinton Byfield scored the goal, assisted by Adrian Kempe and Brandon Clark. And it was 1-0. Darcy Kemper's 35th career shutout, 4th shutout of the season for Darcy Kemper. And that will do it for that game. It ended at 1-0 overtime. And then we go to our final game, guys. Can you believe it? It's crazy in the NHL. What's going and going. It was a 6-2. We had the Canucks facing off against the Chicago Blackhawks. We had Aaron Soderblom versus Artus Solis. And for the first goal, we had the captain, Quinn Hughes, assisted by Philip Pronik and Elias Lindholm. Second goal to make it 2-0 Canucks, Tyler Myers, assisted by Kiefer Sherwood and Teddy Bluger. That was the first period. Move on to the second period. Connor Garland makes it 3-0 Vancouver, assisted by Pius Suter and Niels Höglander. And then Chicago strikes to make it 3-1. It was Alex Vlasic to get Chicago on the board, assisted by Ryan Donato and Teuvo Teravainen. Then it came down to the third period, guys. Can you believe it? 4-1 Vancouver. Elias Pettersson, assisted by Niels Höglander and Wyatt Kaiser. Oh, no. 4-1. Elias Lindholm scored that one, assisted by Niels Höglander. Then the second goal was Wyatt Kaiser for the Chicago Blackhawks, assisted by Artem Lezeman and Ryan Donato. Then it was 5-2 Vancouver. Can you believe that? Niels Ardeman, assisted by Kiefer Sherwood and Teddy Bluger. And to make it 6-2, just put the icing on the cake, it was Pius Suter, assisted by Connor Garland and Dakota Joshua. And that's what I have. And Philip Hedl left with 4:56 remaining in the third period after contact with Jason Dickinson. Now he's considered day to day, and I'll have an update on that as it comes in. And then Ottoman and Suter goes 8 seconds apart from each other, tied for the second fastest 2 goals. Niels Ottoman, first goal of the season. And that's what I have all for today from yesterday's games. And I'll see you guys next time. Shoots later.